Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very interesting both good and bad news coming out over here when it comes to the brand new PlayStation 5 hardware that is coming out in the next few weeks. Now, in case you guys do not know, for whatever reason, there is a brand new Pro controller with the DualSense Edge controller that is coming out in the very near future. Now, there's been some good news with a lot of cool features and a little bit more of an in-depth talk. We're going to go and just basically highlight in case you guys have been curious on it, but as well a little bit of drama tied in too, because a lot of folks are seeing that some of the stats are just not as good, and it also does kind of make it harder to warrant the price point that they're trying to go push out for the controller itself. So we're going to talk about this, talk about the good old PlayStation drama, and kind of go through the PlayStation blog too as well, and give you guys all the details. And of course, the question of this video: are you guys going to be trying to go and buy one? Now, I think this one for me is probably going to be a big no. I already have a few different types of Pro controllers, and also I'm more of like a casual PlayStation 5 guy myself. I'm more of a PC guy, as you guys probably know if you guys watch a lot of my videos. So I don't think I want to spend the extra $200 on the controller itself, but would love to hear someone's perspective, or if someone is going to buy one themselves. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or $500 giveaway going on. Just make sure you hit that sub button, super easy. Twitter and Twitch stream down below in case you guys want to follow for bonus entries, and of course the Target and Amazon links down below. So as we've mentioned, we had a brand new now controller announced and kind of discussed these past few weeks, but today there's a brand new PlayStation blog that just came out with the DualSense Edge wireless controller with a little bit of a hands-on discussing about it and talking about it a little bit more and all the key takeaways. So we also do have the actual DualSense wireless controller design story. If you guys want me to go and do a little bit more of an in-depth on that, we totally can. So playing is believing when it comes to the DualSense Edge wireless controller for the PlayStation 5, and they have the opportunity to go hands-on with the ultra customizable high-performance controller, trying out multiple interchangeable pieces on console controller setting options, and tested everything out across a variety of games. The key takeaway for this: regardless of your overall experience with customizable controllers designed for precision play, the DualSense Edge controller experience combines premium construction with intuitive user options. So in case you guys don't really know, we'll go a little bit more in depth throughout the video. It's a lot of little small quality of life changes that aren't necessarily really needed per se. So it's just like slightly better textures, removable things, key mapping, extra panels, a lot of little small nice things that are nice. But if you're playing a game, multiplayer game, whatever, you don't fully need it. So for the closer look at what was inspired, the controller's form factor and customization options, we sat down with the minds who helped design it. Here's a behind-the-scenes glimpse of the first ever highly customizable controller developed by PlayStation was created. Now, they did have this little nice nifty little video over here, and to kind of discuss a lot of this stuff. If you guys want to even see this on the channel later on, I totally can. But the big thing is that it has a lot of little small baby features that basically make it look a little bit nicer. So the high-quality case first and foremost. The DualSense Edge controller comes up with a sleek and sturdy shell-like case to keep your controller and its accessories safe and organized. One nice touch is the removable flap, where it includes braided USB charging cables can fit, allowing you to charge that too as well. Now, I'm not a big case guy. I'm gonna keep it honest with you guys. I don't think I'd probably care. This will probably end up in the garbage at some point, unless I found some other weird side uses for it. Don't really care. Kind of wish they would just sell it without that. So the controller feels immediately familiar, since PlayStation engineers set out to match the original DualSense controller shape, so it is the same shape as a normal, proper PlayStation 5 controller. I'm sure you guys know. And as well, it's the same size, pretty much the same weight. Slightly different because there's different options, but you know what I mean. So close inspection of the DualSense Edge controller reveals subtle examples of its premium build quality, such as increased surface area for the grippy white plastic around the handles and extra texture than on the touchpad and triggers. So we've been noticing this a little bit too if you guys look on this. Slightly more in-depth textures, slightly bigger grip as they kind of went through this, and it does look like a pretty sleek little controller, you gotta admit. They also do have the adjustable trigger length, which I think is also very nice to see. So players can adjust the length of the triggers with built-in switches for both R2 and L2 buttons. This one makes on the fly customization easy without needing to adjust any controller profile settings. And one example where they were playing basically through the game of God of War Ragnarok, they wanted the full range of the R2 button, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, or clicking into a shorter trigger length helped me shoot faster. So basically it's kind of how I've actually had this with my own Pro controller. Basically, like if you have like less of a distance to have to go and shoot down, it's a lot easier and better. But like I said, we'll kind of maybe dedicate a separate video for it, is that the PlayStation 5 has also some mediocre features such as like a shorter battery life and a few other little smaller things in terms of the price point that does make things a little bit more sketchy, because all these extra features are nice, but at the same time, I'm someone who kind of more so prefers a longer battery life. And I kind of prefer, like, say, for my phone, instead of having like 144 hertz on a monitor refresher on a phone to scroll through Twitter or YouTube, I'd rather just go be still 60 and have a longer battery life. So some folks are actually definitely critiquing on that one. We may go more in depth on that throughout the week and throughout the day as more people talk about or discuss it, but it's kind of like a big push on it, especially with the price point too as well, which is kind of like 4 times higher than usual controllers, more so because it's on sale as of right now. But they do have the adjustable trigger length, which is always nice to go and see. They do also have the switchable stick caps, which I think is very nifty. So the DualSense Edge controller features 3 sets of stick caps that make quick customization easy. The 2 standard caps and the same of the DualSense controller snappy sticks, that's such a weird wording, while the sets of high and low dome caps, also dome caps, really weird wording, offer a satisfying concave feel. I appreciate being able to swap into a high dome cap on the right analog stick, which provided a greater degree of finesse when taking aim in, say, Call of Duty. So it's another kind of big thing where you can basically go and min-max this, because that is maybe a good point. Maybe you're playing a certain game where you're using the right analog stick a lot more, and maybe you're not using the left analog stick as much. You can kind of make them interchangeable and make them a little bit nicer. Now, I was kind of sassed in the carrying case too, but it does look pretty nifty. But at the same time, I game at home. I mean, maybe if I'm going to visit a friend or going to college dorms or whatever, but most of the time for me, I'm probably not going to be using this pack. But just a nice little feature of having the adjustable analog sticks, as well as also the extra padding on the controller to make it feel a little bit nicer, and also have like maybe slightly more fine-tuned to your usual preference. Now, a cool thing would be whenever these things are basic for every single console. So also have the back button versatility too as well, which I really like. I have gotten sent the Pro controller myself, and this thing is actually a game changer, and I wish it was on every controller. So the DualSense Edge controller also has optional back buttons. The lever back buttons offer a longer, flatter form factor that's quick to activate. The half-dome back buttons feature a low profile and precise feel. They open up to new options for button configurations, and once they acclimated to the new inputs, I felt like a nimble powerhouse. So a good example for this is a big thing on PC games, as you have so many different buttons you can customize and do different things on. Now, when it comes to controllers, sometimes you have to do weird stuff like hold down the left analog stick and then hold like R1 or R2, or like press a certain button. You have like a combo. So with this, it basically just adds more seamless options. They can basically work in combinations and work in different types of skills or abilities and everything, and then it kind of goes from there. So it's really cool to see. So in God of War, they were setting the dodge button to their left back button, and then the Kratos' Leviathan axe retrieval to the right button. So you know all those random times you had to maybe awkwardly have your hand and move around in God of War, instead you just do one back button for that, and then one back button for everything else, which also makes it easier to get familiar with, say, like the Blades of Chaos and stuff like that, because it kind of just makes everything a little bit easier, you know? It's just more separated, which I think is nice. Like, I'm a PC guy, so I like all the options. So that's a good thing that they went and changed up their button layouts for, which I think is very nifty to see. They also reduced the length of the left trigger to speed up aiming range attacks. They kept the right trigger at default to feel the adaptive trigger's immersive magic during melee combat. So it's basically just a lot of this fine-tuning elements as people have had their hands on it to make it slightly nicer and better. Now, like, my thoughts is that it does seem cool. It does seem nice. I don't know if it's worth the money, though. That's why I want to know your thoughts. So customizable controller profiles. The options for optimizing your playstyle extend beyond the accessories and trigger adjustments to customizable controller profiles. A slick tutorial automatically pops up when you first plug your controller into the PS5 console. So basically there's even like a walkthrough process. So you have up to 3 profiles, which basically lets you do things like that God of War option. Custom button assignments too as well. So say you have like a FPS, driving, action, RPG, kind of like I said, so for comparison from Call of Duty to God of War. Stick sensitivity, which I think is really cool in the dead zone tuning as well. But trigger dead zone tuning and vibration intensity. So there's like a lot of actual hardware and software involved on this controller itself. They also do have different things for even stick sensitivity, which I think is also even cooler. So you have things like quick, where it like has a registered input accelerants as you tilt the stick. so good for quick movements. And as well, you also have the precision, so minimum input is registered when you tilt the stick, which is also nice too as well. Let's say you're doing like you have to like cross a bridge in a game or stuff like that, or maybe like a shooter game. Steady is also just very like kind of limited, it's just smooth and stable movement, and things like digital too as well with nearly maximum input. Like you guys can see there's a lot of variety options, which just kind of plays your play style. You also do have the things like the function buttons too as well. These two buttons are positioned below the thumbsticks, providing easy access for a DualSense Edge controller-specific menu that pops up whenever pressed. So whether in game or in system menus, these games make it easy to snap between profiles, adjust headset volume, game chat, party audio, and stuff like that, to basically be a more in-tuned and streamlined process for your PlayStation console too as well. So this is all seeming really, really cool. Like they have like cool things with like function buttons too, whether you're playing this through Call of Duty, but also having the chance to interchange all these like preset options to fine-tune exactly what you want to do as you're playing the game seems very, very neat. Now, as I'm sure you guys know, you guys do want to go and get the controller. It is up on the PlayStation Direct website, and as well, it is kind of nifty and kind of cool, and has a little bit more of a visual respect towards everything on the controller too. But I think it's cool. I'm not sure if I'm going to get one or not. And we have been seeing some drama, as I mentioned, with this, so give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or $500 giveaway. Twitter and Twitch stream down below, Target and Amazon links down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.